the other sessions were very exciting, but they were about stuff like quantum computing, artificial intelligence. This one is going to be different because it's about the people who are going to actually make the connect between India and Germany. So I'd like to just start with the State Minister. And Dr. Stegmann, if I could start with you, why would you cooperate with India? Why do you want the cooperation between Baden-Württemberg and Maharashtra? Because we do know that there's been a state partnership agreement which is going to be 10 years next year, but why India?
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. And first of all, thank you very much for hosting this great event. It's really a great honor for me to share my point of view on this very important topic. So India is not just the biggest democracy with a population of 1.4 billion people. It's also a country with boundless opportunities. So let me go more in detail. First of all, I think India has a vast potential for investment in economic collaboration. It's a country with dynamic markets and global growing influence. Secondly, India is a global leader in software development and software services. You provide our companies with cutting-edge products and services. So we fit very good together because Baden-Württemberg, we also have a tech-driven industry, so we would match at that point very good. And thirdly, India is one of those countries with one of the dynamics ecosystems in the world. So if we collaborate and if you are partnering with an Indian startup, you can accelerate our tech industry. And my fourth and most important point of view is India has a very strong focus on education and skill development. And this aligns very perfectly with Baden-Württemberg. We are very strong at the vocational training expertise. And in a nutshell, I would say deepening cooperation between Baden-Württemberg and India it means unlocking a potential with shared values, complementary strengths, and vision of mutual growth. But it's not just a partnership, it's for us an opportunity to shape the future of the world.
Thank you. Good start to the discussion. If I could turn to Mr. Isaac, he had some very interesting points while we were just chatting outside. His organization is the largest employer in India, the third largest in the world. So maybe you could just give us some thoughts on, what India could bring to the table when it comes to meeting the requirements in Germany.
So just a correction, we're the third largest staffing company in the world. So let me just give everyone here a sense of the Indian job market. So what are the skill sets available, what's the structure of it, and what can come out of it. There are totally 560 million people in India who are classified as eligible to work, people between the age of 15 and 64. Out of this, about 45% is in the farm sector. So about 250 million in the farm sector, 310 million in the non-farm sector. Only 20% of this total of the 560 million is what you call is a formal workforce. People with employment letters, contracts, provident fund, benefits, etc. The rest of them work at will with other places. There are small enterprises in India, smaller than the Mittelstands that you find here. That is what we call as MSMEs, mid and small medium enterprises. There are about 63 million of them in India. They employ about 1 to 2 people each. So about 120 million people out of the entire total of 560 million work in small enterprises. So that's the structure of the market. If you go on the supply side of where education comes in, we have about 10 million people who go through technical education or graduate courses and are eligible for jobs every year. So that's the supply that Germany can look at, one's constituency of people. Inside that, you have about 1.5 million engineers who come out and about 100,000 doctors, plus about 200,000 nurses. Globally, the shortage of healthcare workers is about 18 million. Germany also has a little bit of shortage, I'm sure. And we have nurses now. We're losing nurses to Germany. Good thing. But, so this is the landscape of the supply of people. I just want to leave one more point before I turn it back to you. I think it's important for Germany to know that the last 10 years has been transformational for India. India now has a can-do attitude. Its people are aspirational. They like to fit into a system. They're becoming more and more formal and structured in the way they work. So in a society like Germany, I would encourage you to look at people who are in this transformational phase of their journey. And I think they will do well to contribute productively to employment markets here and to enterprises in Germany.
I'll just turn to another German perspective now. Jonas, who is from Fintiba, which is a platform that works to get international students across. We were having a little bit of a chat, about managing the, expectations and realities. Maybe you could throw some light on that, and how would you work to integrate Indians who are coming into Germany?
Yes, thanks a lot. Yeah, Fintiba, we're a platform, as you said, like a tech platform or like a tech and people service platform where we help internationals to come to Germany and get through the bureaucratic hurdles. And we have accompanied more than 300,000, mainly students, on their way to Germany, and we gained a lot of experience. And I think I would like to touch upon that. I think what you said, we have talked a lot about technology and figures and numbers, and this is about the human factor, about the brains and the skills. And I think this is exactly the point. Also, when we have the triple win strategy of our government, about that two governments will benefit, but also really the people that come to Germany. I think it's about how do you want to make someone successful, and successful you become in terms of personal journey and growth if you make it, and make it is mainly about integration. It's really all the hurdles of getting familiar with German. I mean, even if many people you get around here with English, finding a job normally requires some level of German. You need to integrate into the German society to be successful. And I think this is one of the key factors to make that. And that's also why we think, of course, we extended the groups of people that come here of skilled labor from like blue collar and white collar. But especially students are a very interesting target group because we have like a complete ecosystem that fosters that integration. I mean, we have universities with a lot of programs that help with integration weekends or integration weeks to language courses that are more or less for free during universities, a big difference to also finding then jobs. And in the end, it's about a career, about a long-term life, and how do you make that successful. And I think this is an interesting fact about Germany, that Germany is OECD leader in terms of keeping internationals in Germany after the graduation. So after 5 years, we still have 2/3 of international graduates and also Indian graduates still in Germany. After 10 years, it's still over 40%. And I think this is something we need to support as much as possible from the whole way, from recruiting people in India to really think about who has the good chances to come here until doing it in Germany, because a failure on the way is very painful. We know that in India, a lot of families collect money to make that way, to pay for like the way to Germany. And if you then, I don't know, end up in the wrong university or in a place where you will not maybe to make it with your education or vocational training, then it's very hurtful for everyone. So I think integration is the key, and we try to do everything also with Fintiba to smooth that.
Pankaj, I'm going to come to you from PeopleStrong. You've obviously looked at not just Germany, but other countries. What would you say makes Germany possibly more interesting than, say, a destination like Australia for an Indian?
Which other country can host a football ground for a conference and a discussion on skill, right? So that's one simple reason. And thank you, Barun, for getting us together. Thank you, Sri, for getting me here. Just delighted to be on the panel. My take is as follows. So we are discussing 1.4 billion people of India. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the world needs 1 billion people over the next 2 decades, right? And where will that billion people will come? 25%, if not more, 250 million people are going to come from India. Now, the problem at home in India is that we have done a lot. We have the right UPI systems, which is payments. We have many examples. We have identification. We now have an opportunity to create a skill ecosystem. And what I like about the new world of skills, that it's genderless. Skill has no gender, right? Jobs have gender. They want men or women. But skill has no gender. When you get people to Germany, you're not going to look at gender. You want skilled people. So I think India cannot consume the workforce that we have, the numbers that Ajit mentioned, can never be consumed in India. So we need countries and partnerships like Germany. So I think that's the best bet we have with government coming along. Secondly, I'm not betting on government only. Government, of course, is doing a phenomenal job in this case. But I always bet on category building entrepreneurs. In India, if you look at, you'll be surprised that the internships for class 11 and 12, there are companies which are helping students to get internships across the globe. So we have that opportunity. India's #1 management institute. Since independence, we had one, Raza, you know, Indian Institute of Management. Last year it was dethroned, and a new institute which is 5 years old called Masters Union is #1. Why? Because it says textbooks on the side will provide the skills which are required by the corporations. #2, India's mass institutions are always known as like Amity and many other brands which have done a good thing. But there, Sunstone kind of companies have come up. So I think skill is the future, Raza.
Mark, if I could come to you, you have an aging population in Germany. And India is a country which has a demographic bulge. How good a fit is it?
It's a huge fit, in India, there's a really young, skilled population, and we need those people here in Germany to, help us here keeping going our way, but we can also offer them a huge opportunity to work here in Germany, to build a new life here. And I work for Barmer, a health insurance company. And basically what we do is we help them to integrate here. Jonas mentioned how important integration is. And we as a healthcare company want to help the people to integrate here where health is no matter of concern, because we want to make the health insurance system as accessible as possible for them so that they can focus on working here, on living here with their families and support the system here in Germany, the social security system. Because here in Germany, the young people pay for the old, and we have an aging population, and if we get a young, skilled population from India that works here, they are able to sustain the system, which is world-leading in its capabilities. And that's really why the Indian population coming to Germany is a huge fit, and we have to strive to build on this and keep them integrated.
If I could turn to Dr. Stegmann again, the partnership between Maharashtra and Baden-Württemberg. If you could tell us about the pilot project that you have for getting skilled labor from Maharashtra, and also what can other states learn from this partnership? This partnership is going to be 10 years next year.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Also, the cooperation between Baden-Württemberg and Russia could be a role model for other states as well, I'm convinced. And the recognition of our work make me and my team incredibly proud. But how did we achieve this? The foundation of our cooperation is a long-standing partnership built on personal trust and even friendship and relationship. Over the past years, I have traveled many times to India, to Mumbai and Pune, and I had a lot of fruitful discussions, countless meetings, and so we have built a strong foundation of trust and respect and friendship. And this respect and our friendship is, let me say it like that, is the heart of our cooperation. And we work very closely with great trust, and both regions are, of course, the powerhouses in industries like automotive and mechanical engineering, and also the healthcare sector. We have both a strong ecosystem in research. And to support this effort, we established also a cooperation office in Pune, and we have a service desk there for skilled workers. And also, I have to mention, this is really respectable because Maharashtra has active investments in German language with cooperation at the Goethe Institutes. And at the bottom line, or in a nutshell, successful partnership require regional personal meetings, exchange, a strong trust, and then it works.
If I could turn to both Mr. Isaac and Pankaj, if you look back about 20 years, if an Indian was going to migrate, it was always to what we call West Asia, the Middle East. But now it's clearly different. Even if you look at remittances, it's changing. What do you think people like you who are in this field can do to, better equip someone who's coming to Europe or to Germany? Either of you, maybe.
So I think, and to answer you as well as Dr. Stegmann, if you look at the data in 2013, since you talk of past, we had 32% Indian workforce as skilled. Data in 2024, as per India Skills Report, is almost 52%. So we have this change. Number two, the 10% jobs of India are aspirational jobs, which attract 70% of the applications. So we have this mismatch. We have a skilled workforce which is growing. We have tag data which says that aspirational jobs are not increasing. Of course, they will increase, but not to that magnitude. So now there is no option but to help those skilled workers find jobs. Therefore, Germany comes into play. What role we can play? Again, I will say we have to enable entrepreneurial ecosystems. Like we have two friends here, he's helping people to come here. We have to find that ecosystem in India, which in a structured way will go. And most pleasant thing that I want to quote, Pune you mentioned. In that India Skill Index, Pune is the #1 city. So you are at the right place.
Well, I think for starters, Germany's got to play some cricket, India has got to play some football. We have to learn a sport. Indians have got to drink a bit more beer. And maybe Germany's got to learn some non-vegetarian food. So that will get the people closer. But on a more serious note, India's got about 1,700 GCCs that are set up. GCCs are global capability centers, usually backends of large corporations which do stuff like accounts payables, accounts receivables, order to cash, customer lifecycle management, product development and testing, stuff that is very essential to companies, everyday stuff of companies. So these are companies with enterprises with turnover sizes in excess of $1 billion or so. So even in the state of Baden-Württemberg, you'll find a lot of these companies which have sizes, let's say, of about $1 billion or so, who can set up micro Bosch. Bosch, for example, has already got one in India. So if you set up a GCC in India, that GCC can tie up with a few universities, and that university can have an apprenticeship program with a particular state. So use the companies that are setting up GCCs in India to tie up with universities and draw people from good universities there and get good talent from there. When you have a good brand like Bosch, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Porsche, etc., setting up a GCC there, you will draw great talent to those brands. So what you will, by an automatic filter, is that you'll end up getting good talent out of India also. So it's not just the numbers that come in. And this second point is that, India and when you're looking for a job, you want to land up in a country where there is little or no intimidation of any type. For example, if you go to Afghanistan, it's difficult today, or somewhere else. Germany and India have always had there's a good vibe about it. That we must build on. That energy that's created out of the relationship should transform itself into more things. I think a little push, events like this, definitely give that narrative a greater sense of momentum. And, it'll serve both of us if you're able to draw out more people than what you're doing right now out of India into jobs. I think the migration per annum is about 11,000 right now. It can perhaps reach 100,000 people because we have 18 million people living outside India as migrants.
I think Jonas wanted to make a quick point about something.
Yeah, maybe just to add, because I think it sounds so easy. We have all clear that India has all these skills and Germany needs all these people to fill the jobs. But I think what we may be missing is that Germany is not the only country who's in need of all these jobs. I think India will be the only country in the future who has really a skills surplus. And in Germany, we have to be aware that we actually compete for these skills and brains. And we have to really think about how do we create an ecosystem or like a country and a society that is open to make people feel at home and feel open to come here. And I hope that the more the Indian diaspora grows and the more ecosystems we all provide, that the easier and better this actually gets to really yeah, next to that we have great engineering jobs, and I hope we will also have them in the future, but we need to think about how to also develop our own society into a more open society in bringing all these people into our daily lives. And if we manage to do this, then Germany will also benefit a lot, I think, here from our more open mindset, hopefully.
I have a question for both the German panelists. I mean, it's clear what you said. It's becoming a more open society. I mean, the hotel we are staying in, the people at the front desk are from Afghanistan. The housekeeping in charge is a person from Nepal. So, I mean, clearly there are people coming in, not just from India. But, we've just had an election in America where we have a new president-elect who is talking about cutting off immigration. Europe is having a debate on immigration. How big a problem do you think that is, when it comes to the local society?
The problem, what exactly? The problem that sort of what's happening in the States?
Or in Europe also, I
mean, at the moment, I would say we see rather that Europe is in a very positive situation because of the things that happen in the US, but also like the UK are becoming less open when it comes, for example, to students or immigration. So I think the other European countries, especially Germany, can benefit a lot. Of course, we also have discussions here because like everywhere in the world, in Germany, we have 85% of people living in rural, in cities, in urban areas, exactly. And the same problem with accommodation, like everywhere we have the same issues and how we deal with sort of people coming from abroad. But I think the better we really stress the success stories and what kind of stories the people bring with them, I think the more we make it a really open, or like a stand for our society to benefit from it. And I think then there is a lot of openness, especially when it comes to skilled labor. I mean, this is a very different story that I think we have about, I don't know, asylum seeker or not legal immigration.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about skilled migration. So the people are coming here basically for work. And in my opinion, work is the best place to integrate because you get to know your colleagues, you get to know your co-workers, you are doing maybe some sports after work with them, and that's really the best way to integrate. And in my opinion, this is there's a really positive opinion on that. And therefore, like Jonas said, it's a really great opportunity for Europe to catch those people, even with the election in the US in mind. To catch the people and integrate them here into the society and really show that we are an open country for them.
If I could turn to Dr. Stegmann again, this is the Migration and Mobility Partnership Agreement is between India and Germany. It's almost 2 years now. But specifically your state, Baden-Württemberg, what are you doing to enhance the experience for migrant job seekers, from a country like India in your state?
Thank you for your question. Baden-Württemberg is implementing a whole range of initiatives just to ensure that skilled workers from abroad, especially from India and Maharashtra, that they feel welcome and supported. So we have learned a lot from our past experiences, and we are always trying to become better, just to get the process smoother and more effective. And one of our key initiatives was the implementing of 12 welcome centers across the state. The welcome centers, they are, let me say it like that, they are the first point of contact for newcomers, and they are also first point of contact for companies who requires skilled workers. And they can support you with information, and that is very important for both sides. And another very important and significant milestone for the Baden-Württemberg government was to establish, we call it the State Center for the Immigration of Skilled Workers. What does it mean? It means the center is designed to optimize and streamline the immigration process for skilled workers, make it smoother, faster, more effective, as I mentioned. And me personally, as play a central role in this whole process. I do a lot of conversations with stakeholders like not only our ministries, but also the federal ministry, the Federal Employment Agency, the Chambers of Commerce, just to get to know each other and to know what are the problems. For me personally, it's very important that our cooperation with Maharashtra and India is sustainable. It's really very important. It must be sustainable. So after all, we just heard it, it's all about people. It's all about their personal stories. So that's why I meet not only very regular with politicians, Indian politicians or government representatives. I also meet Indian entrepreneurs and even workers from the health sector. So I met the nurses from Kerala just to know what was your journey to Baden-Württemberg. So, and I always asked what did well and where do we have to improve ourselves, because the personal exchange helps us, helps me to understand where are the problems and helps us to get better. So to put it in 2 sentences, our aim is move to Baden-Württemberg for life and stay in Baden-Württemberg for life. That's our mission.
That's a pretty ambitious plan. I think we're running short on time. I'm probably going to ask all the other 4 panelists to kind of sum up. But if I could ask the Indian panelists, so far, very rosy picture. Do some crystal ball gazing. Do you see any pitfalls? Pankaj, maybe?
Can India spend enough money in publicizing this partnership is my worry. There are not enough people who knows about it. That's one challenge that I see as we progress. And as Ajit mentioned, I want to give a number of GCC. The Global Capability Centers or GDCs in India are 45% other than their home country. So we are the largest already there. So we will get stuff there. And lastly, as Khalil Gibran said, children are through you, not from you. So if they are through us, let's give them the best opportunity that exists here. Probably allocate some fund. I'm requesting Indian government and German both to publicize this policy. That's what I will say.
Walk the talk. Yeah.
So I think there are a couple of issues that both sides should look at. First is that out of 18 million people who live outside India, Germany does not now come into the top 5, so to say. So we have to do something about changing that perception about why Germany is a great place to live in, to work in, and to find employment here. The second thing is, I think there is a changing model of immigration developing. That is, you don't go and stay all your life in one country. You go to, let's say, the Middle East, go spend 30 years, 25 years of your work life, earn enough money, come back and live in India. And the same thing is also visible with nurses from Manila. There are about, I think, 10 million nurses out of Manila. Almost, it's the single largest M4 component of their economy, of repatriation of earnings from nurses who work outside. And those nurses go work outside and then come back and live again in Manila and rejoin families. So we have to combine both of these things. How do we get more branding to get people here? And how do we create a structure where people can come live here for some time, earn some, and then go back if necessary?
Johannes and Mark, some final thoughts?
On the general question?
I mean, you're summing up. I mean, what do you...
Really, we have to look that we create not a win-win situation, but a triple win. So the employers have to profit of it. The social security system should profit out of it in Germany, but also the employee who comes to Germany has to profit out of it. So we have to strive towards improving their lives as well as profiting from each other. So I see it as a win for everything.
Maybe some last thoughts?
Some last thoughts. Yeah, I think it will be a joint effort, and I think it's exactly what we represent here. It should be effort between companies, the government, between India and Germany. And I mean, we believe in the value of international exchange in Fintiba, definitely, and I would say let's exchange to grow, and I think grow can be then in Germany or also back in India. It will benefit all of us.
And use TV9 network to publicize.
On that note, a very good note to end on. Thank you. Wonderful panel. Great thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm going to request all the panelists to please stay on stage. Please stay on stage. Ajit, all of you, please stay on stage. Requesting Mr. Ruben Kasper and Mr. R.K. Goel.
Mr. Kasper and
Mr. R.K. Goel,
please
please
requesting
you to take the stage.
Mr. Goyal, please. We also have the Indian.
Yeah, Indian shawl again. You can take from teleprompter.
Reza, can we please invite you on stage as well for a group photo? Reza, please. All right, let's put our hands together for our speakers and for our moderator. Thank you very much for this session.
All right, then let's move on. We have a very, very packed schedule for the day. Don't we, Padmaja? So we can't afford to waste any time. So requesting all of you to please settle down for the next session. We are, after all, in Stuttgart in Germany. How can